Hey everyone, this is Ryan Paul Adams here. Just give us a few seconds while we wait for a few more people who are getting on the webinar. We've got quite a few people on here tonight, so that's great. I really appreciate everybody getting on here. A few stragglers left. They can catch up as we go. Also, at the end of this, I will make this webinar recording available online directly on the PME360.com website. So without any more delay, let's get right into it. So today's topic is the 5 things you need to do to prepare for growth in your home improvement business. Now, the strategies I'm about to share with you are just that, the mindset behind getting ready to grow. This isn't necessarily the webinar about the actual strategies that will get that growth, but the preparation and the mindset. So keep that in mind as I go through these slides. Okay, just a little bit of background on me. If some of you don't know who I am, I'm the CEO of PME360. We've been powering growth online for small to medium-sized businesses for over 5 years. I've been personally working on growing businesses since 2005. I've been in the internet marketing world for over 8 years, with 3 to 4 of those years spent directly in the home improvement market. I've successfully also launched 4 other companies in a variety of niche markets. But what I'm most proud about is, I've been able to help small business owners is generate additional revenue using internet marketing. I think internet marketing is one of the most powerful sources to grow in today's society. It's just incredible what you can do, especially local companies. Sky's the limit, it's wide open. You can see some of my credentials, and what I'm most proud of, I guess, is that I've really invested a lot of time and money to get to where I am now and the knowledge that I've acquired. So hopefully that comes through in some of the things that I talk about. And if you ever have a conversation with me, hopefully this amount of effort that I've put into this, it comes through. So prepare for growth in your home improvement business. So the top 5 ways that we're going to talk about tonight are: number 1, focus on one thing at a time. Number 2 is know what is good enough. Number 3 is become the go-to industry expert. Number 4 is put on a show. And number 5 is create systems. But before I get into those 5 key strategies, I want to tell you why I love the home improvement market and why I've always been a big fan, why I've always been involved in this market ever since my professional career. Remodeling and home improvement spending is on the verge of taking off. Okay, and I know a lot of you are going to say that we've been in a recession. I understand that. But the guys and gals who've been doing this and had great positioning, great marketing all along, have not noticed as big a hit in this recession as some of you other might have felt. An estimated 21 million homeowners will undertake about 30.7 million home repairs and remodeling projects in 2011, spending $185 billion in the process. This is a big market. So if you're in the home improvement or remodeling market, I feel like you're really in the right place. And if you're struggling, or you're not generating the kind of revenue that you hope to generate, there's some things that you can do to capture more market share. I think that's probably what it's going to come down to, is your marketing's probably a little bit off, you're probably a little bit scattered, and you don't have systems to be able to scale and grow your home improvement company. So I really think if you're in this industry, you're in the right place. The value of products and service in this industry. There's another reason why I love this. If you're in the right remodeling segment, home improvement segments, you're talking about high ticket average cost per transaction items. I mean, these aren't $5 widgets that you're selling, or $50 items that rely on a ton of volume. You're in a business that your average ticket price should be pretty good. You should be able to be making money and doing very well in remodeling markets. And what I'm finding is that the high ticket sales in this growing market, with very few competitors willing to do the right things to grow. And I know a lot of you feel that there's a lot of competition, but when I really look at what the great companies are doing, there really isn't any competition. And I don't mean to sound insensitive, but there really isn't. If you do the things that we talk about here, you should find that you have plenty of leads and you're generating plenty of revenue, probably more than what you can handle. And again, home improvement activity is the highest in 7 years. According to Consumer Reports article recently, November 2nd, homeowners are becoming more confident in their housing investments. The new home market isn't as strong, although I feel like that's picking up too. But most people are sticking around. They're reinvesting in their homes. They need to get their kitchen updated, new flooring, siding, windows, whatever it may be. The confidence is improving, and they're willing to take either equity that they've gained or money that they've been saving to reinvest in their homes. And this growth has been seen in all three indicators of market conditions. The projects that cost $25,000 or more are still lagging behind smaller renovations and repairs, but they're even showing strength, and those will continue to grow as well. So what? Okay, you see a lot of stats, and that's all well and good, but what does that really mean for you? And what I'm seeing is you've got growing market conditions in the home improvement space, and if you had a great company to capture that market share, there's a lot of wealth creation to be had here. And if you have the ability to focus, market, scale, and deliver, you can capture this growth, and you should be able to do extremely well. And the opportunity is there to make lots of money and build a great business, but you've probably been sitting on the fence for a while on a couple of different things that you need to do. Maybe you don't have the money, maybe you don't have the conviction, but money loves speed, okay? What that means, the faster you can implement these things and get going, the quicker you can get to generating wealth and building a business that has value. It's extremely important to recognize. The longer that you wait to try to implement these things all yourself, the longer it's going to take to get you to where you want to go. So, focus on one thing at a time. The business owner conundrum. And maybe this looks a little bit about like what you're doing every day. So I know I've been there. I know what it's like. You're the person. You're the go-to person in your company. You're responsible for just about everything. You have a lack of direction, focus, and it's really hard to delegate. You have a passion for your business, but maybe it's being lost or misplaced at the moment. Feel a little drained, a little overworked, overwhelmed. It's totally normal. We all go through this as business owners. This is totally normal. You go through periods of feeling great about what you're doing, and other times, you feel like you just want to give up. Don't feel like you're alone here, because this is the nature of what it is if you're involved in this vicious cycle. Most of the time, what I'm seeing in the home improvement market is that you probably have a poor business model. You're probably trying to do too much, and you haven't created documented systems around what you're doing, your marketing, all the way through to production of the service that you're offering, as well as how you hire. There's a lot of things you need to do as a business owner, and what you should be focusing on is probably not what you're doing right now. So Stop multitasking and trying to do everything. It's not helping. You need to focus on single tasks at a time. Eliminate all distractions. I see this all the time. The home improvement businesses that I talk to, I'll talk to them on the phone, whatever, and I'll hear another phone ringing in the background. They honestly don't feel like they can let that phone call go to voicemail. So here they are trying to focus with me and power through some growth sessions and develop a strategy, and they feel like they have to answer the phone. It's super cheap and easy to hire an outsourced call center to field your incoming calls. Don't answer your own phone. It's really a huge distraction, and it's pulling you in too many directions. The other thing is answering email in real time. This is crazy. Just because you have email on your phone and you have those little desktop alerts coming up every time an email comes in alerting you that you have new mail, doesn't mean that you should respond to that email when it comes in. There's nobody on this planet that's expecting you to do that. So stop the madness, stop the insanity, and schedule 1 or 2 times per day that you check email. And do it on your computer. Don't answer email anymore or respond to email on your phone. It's completely inefficient and unproductive. So for me personally, what I do is 11 o'clock every day, I check email for about 20 minutes, power through, get that done. At, 4 o'clock, before I shut down for the day, I'll also check email one more time just to see what's going on, get that off my plate. I also do everything I possibly can to eliminate email altogether. To set up systems to route email to the proper people, you get less email on your plate. Focus on doing one task until 100% complete. That's what most people do. I should actually suggest 80% complete is usually good enough. Get it off your plate and move on. Don't expect perfection. I know as a business owner, we expect, it's our brand on the line. We expect everything to be done to perfection. It's not necessary. If you have ideas and systems that you want to try and you want to get them out there, bang them out and move on. Test it. Don't spend too much time trying to perfect it at that point. You can always go back and perfect it, but get these systems, marketing strategies, whatever it is in place, and stop wasting time. Know when something is good enough. And we just talked about this. Perfection is time-consuming, and it's often unattainable. 80 to 90% perfect is good enough. And the cost-benefit analysis of perfection versus time wasted, you have to know what that is. And save perfection when it really counts. So if there's something that's super high level that only you could do, that really needs to be done well, maybe that's the type of task you take some time to really zone in on and get done, get off your plate. But even those, I really think you can get it far along enough that you can then, maybe pass off to someone else to fill in the gaps or test it out, and then go back and perfect it. Crucial piece of preparing for growth is becoming an expert in your field. You have to be known as the guy or gal in your market for the service that you're providing. And it's really hard to become the expert in your field if you're doing too many things. So focus in and become the expert at one thing. You want to become the expert, it's all about positioning. The importance of creating consistent quality content online and throughout your marketing. You got to have it. You got to be doing it. Writing a book, or what they call a short book, a shook, or an online ebook, positioning yourself as somebody who knows what you're talking about in your industry. You can offer this as a free giveaway on your website, or have it on your table when people come in to talk to you, or give it away in your sales presentation. The top things to know before you hire X, whatever your industry is, that could be a good idea for a book. You got to have something. You got to have content. You got to be positioned as the expert in your market. And this isn't easy to do, but it's a necessity as you try to prepare to grow. Leverage social media channels. I'm not going to get into a lot on social media marketing right now, but it's extremely important, as well as reputation marketing. We're going to be doing other webinars on just reputation marketing and social media. It's extremely important. I mean, everybody that's looking for a remodeling contractor, home improvement, HVAC guy, plumber, where are they going? They're going online. Every single one of them. Whether they were referred to you or not, they're doing research about you. And if you don't have enough good information and enough good reviews, you're not going to get that business. It's going to be extremely hard. And your competitors are going to start doing this. If they haven't already, it's only a matter of time before they get the jump on you. So get going. Start doing this stuff. Learn how to do it, or hire somebody that knows how to do it for you. I think traditionally marketing is one of the easiest things to outsource. So if you're overwhelmed with having to create a website or making that website better with SEO, local SEO, link building, citations, video marketing, social media, Facebook, all of this stuff, it can be overwhelming. But it is one of the easiest things to outsource to somebody else. I mean, I'm not, trying to sell my company here by any stretch. There's a lot of people that do this stuff very well. Although I think that we're ahead of the curve on a lot of this stuff. We can take a market, say it's plumbing in Chicago, and that's where our client wants to gain traction in. Within a few hours, we've got that market nailed down. We know exactly how to go about it because we've done it before in other markets, and we can just go and do it. We can create great content for you, create videos, back-end automation funnels for email marketing, social posts. We can go and just take that off your plate. You don't even need to be involved. So really think about being involved at a high level in your marketing, but not the guy that does all of the stuff. Because the only value you're going to bring here is in the content. You can record it through your iPhone or on your computer or whatever and hand it off to somebody else to create all the content and distribute it. You don't need to be the one doing that. That's a waste of your time if you're trying to become the expert in the market. But you need to be creating content. You need to be involved in some level. And thinking outside the box, there's a bunch of different ways you can get your name out there. Podcasts, webinars, how-to videos. I recommended to a general contractor the other day, get an iPhone, and every job that you go into and you see an issue, whether by a previous contractor or something that you're running into, take out your phone and have somebody shoot you talking about the problem. You post that up to YouTube, we can market that out, and position you as the person in your market who knows what they're talking about. Another great way to position yourself as an expert is starting a radio show. And I know that might sound a little bit crazy, but the radio show isn't necessarily about getting 10,000 listeners every time that you put the show on. It's really about positioning. I mean, think about the power of being able to tell somebody that you have your own radio show. You're a roofing guy in Cincinnati, but you also have your own radio show, and you talk about issues related to remodeling and how-to tips on how to do, how to fix your radiator, whatever it is. Just think about positioning. There's a bunch of different ways you can do that. I think radio is a great way, and to be the only person in your whole state that has their own radio show. And then dominate the knowledge base in your industry. And there's lots of ways to do that. There's lots of industry forums, associations. Get involved. Get some content out there. Again, an assistant or an outsourced marketing agency can do some of this for you with some guidance. And putting on a show. You are selling high-ticket items, okay? Most of you. And even if you're not, you still want to be able to put on a show to really differentiate yourself from your competitors. And to be able to put on that show, you really need to know the people you want to talk to. So really know your demographic data and get that throughout your marketing message so that you're really talking to one person versus 20 different groups of people. Sell the lifestyle and be memorable. And I think if you can do that, by selling the lifestyle, I'm talking about, put on a good presentation when you go on a sales call. Don't just assume that you have the business. Have some promotional marketing stuff with you, nice looking brochures. Really be the person in your market that the other guys aren't going to do this. They're just not. So if you can sell that lifestyle and be memorable, you've got a huge advantage over your competition. And putting on a show, there's a couple other things you could do. It's not just getting the sale, it's what you do after it too. Send them a box of fresh-made cookies from your local baker. Send them a thank you letter, handwritten. Things like this go a long way to show appreciation. And every single consumer and customer that you have wants to feel appreciated. Don't assume that because you did the work and they gave you money, that's the end of it and the relationship is over. Take it that extra step and really show them that you appreciated that they gave you their hard-earned money to do what you just did. Create and improve systems. This is the one that I feel like contractors, home improvement businesses, and remodeling companies struggle with the most, is how to create and improve systems. It might not even be something you've thought about yet. You've kind of been in this business for a while. You've been getting jobs. You've been doing okay. But the only way to grow beyond this point, and you're probably at that point now where you're just not quite sure, how do I take this thing to the next level? You're kind of pacing along and you're not really sure if you can have a business that has any value. The only way to create value is to take your brand and wrap nice, tight systems around it and make a list of everything that you do and how you do it. Get together with your team and poke holes in it. So you create these systems, and then you can, go through it with some of your team members, production team, in-house office staff, and see if you missed anything. You should have systems for your sales, marketing, production, in-house contracts, how everything is done within your business. There should be a checklist around it. Test it, refine it, and repeat. And that's how you create systems. You should be dedicating a good amount of time every week to these systems and improving it. Don't just assume that if you have systems now that it's the right way to do it. Look at incorporating technology to make those systems better. If everything's right now, you're using paper checklists, maybe it's time to start looking at getting a better system so that you can scale and grow. And finally, the mentality for growth. You have to have it. You have to want to grow. Staying where you are is not good. Okay? And this is really important to understand. If you're pacing along and you're generating about the same amount of sales you did last year, a little bit better or whatever, and you're basically pretty flat in your growth curve, you better believe that there's a competitor in your market that is not happy with where they are. They're going to want to grow. They're going to want to implement all the things that I just talked about. So if you're staying where you are and you have that mentality, there's competitors that will gain market share and push. So your sales right now, if they are where they are and that competitor intrudes, called competitor intrusion, your sales will drop. And it could happen overnight, could happen over a couple of years. Whatever it is, it'll happen. So being happy with the status quo is not good. And if you honestly believe that that you can stay where you are and be fine. You might want to think about you're not necessarily ever going to have a business that you can sell, because if you have sales that are constantly flat, you can't ever you could never present that to somebody who's interested in buying your business. I mean, just flat sales year after year after year. You're not implementing any new ideas, services, systems. It's not something that somebody else is really ever going to want. The other thing is get out of the craziness and chaos by growing. And this sounds a little bit strange, I'm sure, to a lot of you. But the only way to get out of the craziness of your business, if we go back to that slide where we showed the cycle of the madness that you're involved in right now, the only way to get out of that is by growing. Because when you grow, what happens? You get more money. There's more cash hopefully coming. If you're pricing your products and services correctly, there should be more money coming in, which allows you to do what? Allows you to hire, allows you to get more stuff off your plate, reinvest in your product and processes, and achieve your big dreams, whatever those are. And no business is static. It's dynamic. It's constantly changing. Your industry's changing, marketing's changing, your sales are changing, and if it's flat and static, there's something wrong. So you want to be a market leader. You want to be constantly looking at what's the next thing down the road. What are people going to want? What are my customers going to want down the road? How do I deliver them a better service and better products within that service? If you're not thinking like this, you don't have the mentality of growth. I really feel like you're probably in some trouble if that's the case. And whether you're burned out or not, that's another issue, and maybe it's time to really consider that maybe owning your own business isn't the best thing. If you can't bring in new people and grow, you're going to end up where you are right now. It might be better for you to do something else or go work for another company, because you're just going to end up disappointed somewhere along the line here. Especially if you're thinking that you're building a business when really your business is disguised as a job, and a job that's much more complicated than just going and working for somebody else. So, and again, if you don't grow, your competitors will, and I think you really need to understand this, because if in any market that I look at, it's getting more competitive, but not for the guys and gals that do all this. It really isn't. The people that really implement all this stuff and really want to grow and do the right thing, competition doesn't really exist for them right now. And I don't think it really ever will, to be honest with you. But the people that are kind of floating along here, that's where competition problems really come to light. Before I maybe dive into this last thing, I just wanted to take a few minutes and answer any questions. I know I kind of went through that a little bit fast. I apologize if anybody missed this. Again, this will be put on our website as well. And I'll post it out to social media. Okay, so we have a few questions that came in here. Let's see. Let's take this first one. Dave asks, you mentioned focusing, but right now I'm out on the jobs as well as selling and running the company. What do you suggest I do? Oh, this is typical. I mean, most home improvement companies, especially on the smaller side, and most small businesses are running into the same thing, where they're doing everything. What I suggest, probably the easiest thing to outsource to somebody else or hire someone else to do within your company, and this really depends on what you're doing. You're really the face of your company, so the selling, you really, if you're going to do anything, that's probably the thing that you should be doing, is the guy meeting people and getting the, you could probably get the estimates off your plate, or if you have good systems, you should be able to do these estimates very quickly. But I would say don't stop selling. Be that guy for now, and look at getting somebody else involved that can do your management, your internal management. An office person, 12 to 20 bucks an hour. You can get somebody really good. Really know who you want to hire here, because that's important. You could probably even hire a person that's not on payroll through another staffing company, whatever, temporarily. Find somebody that really is hungry and wants to learn what you do. So that's my suggestion is, if you're on the smaller side and you're doing all the stuff that you say you're doing, focus on selling, because that's what's going to keep the money coming in. And you need to be that guy and get somebody else to do some of the other stuff. Carol has a question. Are you suggesting we put out average stuff in your good enough slide? Okay, Carol, I think I know what you're asking here. It's a tough one. What I'm saying is, when it comes to your marketing, if you have, obviously, if you're going to put out terrible stuff, it's not going to work. But most of you are very smart. I mean, you can put out some good content, and it shouldn't take you that long once you get good at it. Or again, you hire someone else that is an expert at that and can do that for you and make you look good. Your good enough stuff, I'm talking about if you have no systems now, if you have no web presence, if you have no sales strategy, is just getting something in place. You could probably do a lot of this stuff in a couple of hours, just getting foundationally written out, your process for how you deal with every single lead that comes in, and then how you deal with every prospect, actual client meetings, and follow that process through and get this stuff documented. I think that would help, just getting some of that stuff done and off your plate, and then test it, go back, and then you can work on perfecting it. But waiting and not doing it because you're overwhelmed because there's so much to do is not an answer. I think that's the point, is that most of you, like, I deal with the same thing, is like you just get overwhelmed. You have so many things you need to do. Business never stops. You always need to be working on developing new stuff. So I would just suggest, setting aside time every week that you're uninterrupted time, shut everything else off, and just power in and start building your systems and documenting what it is that you do. Jake asks, how can I possibly have time to do what you're saying to do? I work 6 days a week as it is, and I don't have 5 minutes to write content or do any social media stuff, nor do I have time to learn. What do you recommend? Well, you have a major business process problem. First of all, if you're working 6 days a week, it's a unsustainable model. You're going to burn out. And that's important to recognize. You really need to take, a full 2 days off every week to re-energize and be great at what you do. Personally, I don't check email, and I don't answer my phone from Friday at 4 o'clock till Monday at 9 a.m. It's non-negotiable. I'm not willing to sacrifice my family and my own health for the sake of clients or my business. It's not worth it. I've done it, and it's not fun. It's not worth doing. So you've got to make changes in your business and your life to get some of this stuff off your plate, or don't do it. But you can't work 6 and 7 days a week. That's just crazy. What you have to figure out is, what are the things within your business that you can give to somebody else? You have to be able to trust somebody to do something. whether it's initially, spouse or one of your kids or neighbor, whatever it is. There's all kinds of people out there looking for work. If you could outsource 10 hours of whatever it is to somebody else, there's your weekend. That 6-day work week that you just talked about, you just got it back. The 10 hours a week that you can give to somebody else. That's not a lot of time. You can give that and another 10 here and another 10 there, and pretty soon you're able to grow and you've got good people in place. As far as what I recommend to learn, how to write content in social media, there's tons and tons of free resources out there and paid resources. There's good stuff. SEO Moz is a good place to start for learning internet marketing. Sempo is an organization that puts out a lot of great content and webinars around internet marketing. There's a ton of them. Just start taking a little bit of time and just researching the different issues that you need, and you'll find an expert that can help you. We can also help you. We offer a 30-minute free strategy session for small to medium-sized business owners. So if you're interested, I don't know how long I'm going to offer this, honestly, because it depends on how many people. I have quite a few already in the pipeline that I need to get on a call with. My client services, Ron Rohde, he can also do this. He's extremely knowledgeable, really good at helping small business owners. So between the two of us, email me, radams@pme360, if you want to just talk through something. I'm more than happy to do that. And it's 100% complimentary. I don't expect anything in return. If you need some help, we can certainly help you there. Systems. This question comes in from, I don't see the name on this one. Do you have any recommended courses or books on developing systems? As far as I recommend. The one book I recommend everybody check out is the Checklist Manifesto. Can't remember the author right now. I should have had that prepared, but Checklist Manifesto. Go to Amazon. You can. I think they have a Kindle version, or buy the real book. It's really good at developing systems. Let's see, what else do I have for systems? E-Myth. You got to read the E-Myth. By Michael Gerber. If you haven't read that book as a small business owner, you're missing out. There's just an incredible amount of resources in there, and I think those are the two that I recommend right now: Checklist Manifesto and the E-Myth. There's a lot of books out there that you can. Maybe we should create a list, but that's all that I would recommend for that. Okay, well, we're coming up on I think a half an hour here. I think that's about all that I have for today. I really appreciate everybody jumping on the line. Hopefully it provided some value here. And again, if you want to talk and run through our free strategy session, just shoot me an email and I'll put you on, we'll get you on the schedule. All right, I look forward to talking to some of you. Have a great day and we'll talk later.